And again, now that we're officially recording this will be available for playback on our website. This is Beyond Open Round 2. Thank you guys for joining us. And this is a brief overview of the agenda here today, and we're going to go ahead and dive in. So everything you need to know is on our website at beyondopenclt.com. It's pretty full of everything from the start to finish. And so exactly what the qualifiers are for Beyond Open, what the intentions of the program are. There are tools, there are resources, there's support information and contact for you to be able to walk through preparation for this application. And then the actual application itself will be available on the website beginning August 1 when the applications are open. So as I talked about these 3 different steps, step 1, you're doing that now. Thank you for making the time to reserve out of, I'm sure, what is a very busy and full schedule in this summer, a beautiful day, to learn more about it, to be sure that you're educated and you're well informed to be able to step into applying for this program. So we really want to encourage everyone to understand what it's designed for and the intentions of this grant. And so to dive right into that, right? As I shared, this is a grant opportunity. It's not a loan. So these are dollars that do not require repayment. These dollars can be used specifically to support diverse small business owners in purchasing capital assets. And so I'll back up a bit. The funding again came from Wells Fargo's Open for Business Fund. $15 million specifically will be dispersed over the course of 3 years. In round 1 last fall, we launched the first round of the program. We administered $5.9 million to be exact to diverse small business owners. We had about over 3,000 applications. And so the program was far more popular and very well received, maybe than some anticipated. And so what we have now is a pretty competitive program. I don't say that to discourage you, but just to acknowledge that it's not an easy, hey, I apply, I'm sure I'm going to get these funds. You really want to submit a strong application. And so I'm kind of jumping ahead a bit. That's that third point. We had 3,200 applications to be exact, and grants originally ranged anywhere from $5,000 up to $250,000. This round, it's a little bit different. Grants are available from $10,000. We found that our small business owners need a little bit more than at $5,000. There wasn't a huge need there. So starting at $10,000 up to $150,000. And so not too far, not beyond outside of that scope. What we're looking to do is administer at least about 150 grants. We think it will be more than that. We gave out 178 to be exact grants in round 1, but somewhere around the 150 grant marker. And that number may sound small in comparison to over 3,000 applications, but if you think about it, that's nearly 200 businesses that now has money that you do not need to repay to be able to take your business to another level. And there's just been some really great stories that have come out of how small businesses are using these grants. To go ahead a bit further, the applications will open August 1. They'll be open for the entire month of August, August 1 to August 31st. I highly encourage you, do not wait until the last minute. I know our schedules are really busy and sometimes we just push things back. You have a good window of time. You're already here diving into this discussion with us today. Start, prepare, have all of your tools ready, all of the resources and documentation that you'll need. And I encourage you to begin the application earlier than later. The system is designed in a way where you can start your application, step away and come back if need be. So it doesn't need to be completed in one sitting, but encourage you to do that sooner than later. One of the things that we saw, even on a technical front, everyone was diving in the final hours. That actually caused a backlog in the system. Don't even risk that happening. We've done some things to mitigate those technical challenges, but just be sure that you avoid any of those hiccups as best as you can. Again, as I mentioned, applying for the grant does not guarantee an award. Unfortunately, it's not like a submit anticipation. It is competitive. Your application will be reviewed and the strongest applications will receive an award. And I say that to say sometimes people, you may feel like, well, I had a really strong, compelling application. Why didn't I get it? And that just meant somebody's was stronger. But we still encourage you to apply, and I'll talk a bit more about that and how even if you do not receive a grant, we're hoping that this opportunity will benefit you in securing dollars from today going forward, and we'll talk a bit about that. Unfortunately, due to the number of applications, we had requests before to receive individual one-on-one feedback on your application. We're unable to do that just because capacity, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure if you go through a lot of this content on the front end, and we talk about, we're literally today going to talk about some of the common mistakes that were made and things to avoid, you can connect the dots and have an understanding for some of the logistical reasons why an application may not move forward. But then otherwise, it just may be, again, that somebody's story was stronger. Timeline, we are doing your learn and preparation period now between the months of June and July. Applications will open August 1st. They'll close August 31st, and applicants will be notified by November of this year. So eligibility, am I eligible? Are you eligible to apply for this program? So for the purposes of Beyond Open, diverse is inclusive of minority, you're a person of color, a woman, a veteran, identifying as LGBTQ+, or a person with a disability. And you must be a small business owner. Small business is defined by, for the purpose of this round 2, 1, self-employed, sole proprietor up to 200 employees. Previously, small business was from 1 to 499 in accordance with federal standards, but we found that that wasn't really reflective of the need here in Charlotte. And so again, it's 1 to 200 employees. You must be physically located. This is the big one. What's different around round 2, or one of the things that's different for round 2, we have always prioritized corridors of opportunity. If you're unfamiliar with this, these are 6 geographic areas within the city of Charlotte that the city has identified as historically underserved, historically underinvested in, meaning there has not been a great amount of economic contributions or development poured into these communities by way of infrastructure, by way of buildings, anything you want to name that has to deal with funding coming from local government back into the community. They found that these communities have not had as much as other parts of Charlotte. And so in support of advancing economic mobility for our diverse small business owners, in support of a larger initiative that's happening here in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, this program is focusing in round 2 exclusively on a corridor of opportunity. There is a tool on our website to be able to verify that your business is there, and we'll walk through that in this presentation as well. This is also new for this year, your business must have been active for at least 1 year. 1 year is defined by the application timeline. So the applications open August 1. You should have been in business at least of August 1 of 2022, and there's supporting documentation that will be requested for you to prove this. One example, big example of that is your tax return to demonstrate that income has started by at least August the 1st. You obviously could have been in business longer, but by minimum, we want to see that you've been in business for this first year, for at least 1 solid year. The intention of that is to you have a viable business that is solid and strong. We know entrepreneurship is a risky journey that we're proud that all of you are on. Myself, I'm on it, and it takes a bit to iron out the kinks and to have your business running smoothly. And we want to be sure that we're really helping businesses to propel those that are solid and running. And so there's that 1 year minimum requirement. There's also a revenue requirement this year. You must have earned at least $30,000 in annual revenue. The maximum, so minimum is 30,000, maximum is 5 million in annual revenue. Again, supported by tax returns, and there's a list of documentation that can be supplied to prove that. If you own a franchise, if this is a franchise business seeking funding, it must be independent and locally owned. And then new also for this round, nonprofits are not eligible. We are still supporting nonprofits that are invested in supporting diverse-owned small businesses, but we really wanted to make these funds available for our diverse-owned small business owners. As I mentioned, some of that required documentation. So if you are familiar with round one, not to bog you too much with that, but we had 3 tiers. There were 3 types of grants you can apply to. That is now gone. You're just going to apply for the funding that you need for the capital asset that you are requesting. And what is still remains is that depending upon how much money you're requesting, there are additional documentation that is required. And so if you are seeking a grant for anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000, this chart highlights what you will need. So everywhere there's a green dot, that proof of the business location, the proof of the business start date, a tax return from the previous year. And in the case where you are seeking real estate or real estate lease or real estate purchase, there's some additional documentation that's needed, and that's across the board where it comes to real estate. Again, if you look at it as the chart, as your grant funding increases, if you're looking for anything above $20,000, so $20,005 upwards to $100,000, you will then need the additional documentation of your registration, that your business is registered with the state of North Carolina, a cost estimate for any asset that is over $20,000, and so forth. And all of these documents will be required for you to upload it in the form of a PDF. So this is something that you can do in preparation before your application. Gather your documents, save it as a PDF, and go ahead and have it in a file. If you're still old school and you roll around with that USB drive, your USB drive, whatever it is electronically, where you can have that saved as a PDF, you'll want to go ahead and start gathering those documents to begin to upload them to the application. And Ish, oh, here we go. So this is what I was thinking. I'm like, we're talking about how much money you're asking, but we didn't talk about for what. So for what? So the intention is this program is for diverse small business owners, for you to acquire capital assets. And I'd like to pull out and just clarify, we don't talk every day. You're not always talking about, what capital asset do I have? That's not your day-to-day talk or lingo, right? It's any significant piece of property that can be owned. So think of something tangible, something that you own, something that your business possesses that allows you to operate. It is not things that we think of as operating expenses, such as staff or payroll or advertising and marketing, consulting, certainly not debt repayment. It's not for like certifications and training and classes and insurance and a lot of these things that we need to keep our business going. It's for the capital assets. And so this is a list of examples. And I say examples because I don't want you to feel pigeonholed to say, hey, I'm looking for something, I don't see it on this list. It's okay if it's not on the list. If it is something, a piece of property that you can own that's helping your business, we welcome you requesting it. This list is here just to serve as a guide, to give you some concrete examples of what a capital asset will look like. And so you see here, computers, printers, office equipment, hand tools, and small appliances. If you have a storefront, this could be, furniture inside of the shop. It could be signage outside. It could be paving your parking garage. It could be HVAC, replacing a roof. There's technology, there's vehicles. It could be replenishing your supply, your inventory of products, specialty and industrial equipment, and the like. So again, an example, don't feel that, hey, I need to find something on this list to request. If it's on this list, great. If it's not, you're still welcome to submit a request for a capital asset, a piece of property that you can own, not something that's an operating expense. Our intention is to maintain awareness. We put a lot of work into, as best as we can, spreading the word around this program and opportunity. We encourage you to share it with others as well. Sharing is caring. I know myself and some of my small business owner peers, if we hear about an opportunity, we're spreading the word and we're emailing it. Word of mouth is obviously the most effective tool, but you may hear about this program not only through this event like we have here today. We're having virtual events. We're going to do in-person events in each of the 6 corridors. We have a street canvassing team that will be out amongst the different corridors. We are doing and pursuing earned media, so telling some stories. It was a really great story that was just shared in QCD Metro. If you guys haven't checked it out, an example of a few small business owners who received a grant in round one, and their stories were really, really moving to see how they were able to leverage the grant. There's also some paid media that we're pursuing in many niche publications throughout the city to reach our diverse small business owners. There's obviously the website. And if you don't follow us, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. So we're out there in the social sphere as well. And then the other thing to note is we definitely want to remove any barriers. And so where language is concerned, most of our materials are any of our digital, like flyers and guides. They are available in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese as some of the 3 primary languages that are spoken in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. But if you are aware of anyone who speaks another language, we had someone seeking Arabic, let us know. We have built-in resources to be able to translate information as needed. So we definitely don't want this to be a barrier or a restriction. Our objective is to remove those barriers that traditionally exist that stop diverse small business owners from receiving capital funding. As you prepare, right? So you have an idea of what this program is about. We talked a bit again about the eligibility. This is big. You're not eligible. Unfortunately, this program is not for you, and it may change in some ways for round 3, but this is the requirements for round 2. One of the things to do to start to ensure that you are in a corridor of opportunity, we have a tool on our website under the preparation. It might be under, I think it's under the preparation page because that's where we are here, but it may be under learn, but look on our website. We have a guide to the City of Charlotte's Corridor of Opportunity map. And what you're able to do is put the address of your business directly into the map. You see some little orange guides here, some bubbles, and just kind of leading you to figure that out. What you're looking for is that your business will be located within one of the blue shaded areas. Those blue shaded areas are the 6 corridors of opportunity. Excuse me, if your business happens to fall outside of it, unfortunately, you are ineligible for round 2. So again, you want to see that your business appears in that blue shaded area. And if it's outside, unfortunately, you're ineligible for round 2. One of the things what I think is really great, right? If any of us has completed school in any form or fashion, if you have a test or you have a quiz, there's nothing better than seeing an old example of it, an old, quiz or an old test to give you some sort of like key or guide for like, what am I walking into? What do I need to be prepared for? And so we've prepared an application guide essentially for you. It's about 16 pages. There's an electronic version on our website. If you come to any of our in-person events, we won't have them to distribute. That's a lot of just materials. We want to be mindful of not being wasteful, but we will have a hard copy if you'd like to review that. And again, it's an e-version online, and we're going to walk through a couple of the key questions here before our Q&A. One of the things that the application will ask you is to describe what your goals are for your business. So when you think about, again, this program is beyond open. Not only are you existing, but you are thriving. How is your business going to grow? How are you extending or projecting in your economic mobility by way of business ownership, by way of entrepreneurship? So what are your goals? Think of those in the sort of short term, 3 or 4, 5 years from now. What does that look like? And can you describe that specifically in a way as it relates to your staff or your revenue? What will growth look like for your business? And in describing those goals, can you make a connection to how these assets, the capital asset that you're requesting from this program, how it will help you to achieve those goals, right? So a couple of key questions. What are your goals? What amount are you applying for in this program? Describe the asset that you're looking for. And so I think it's actually, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but if you're asking for $25,000 and the asset that you're requesting is $17,000, there's a disconnect. So you want everything to be connected and interconnected. What are your goals? What are you asking for? And how is this capital asset going to help you to achieve that goal And is the amount that you're requesting actually reflective of the cost of that asset, right? So just being sure that all of these things are connected, that it's the same story, that the request is consistent, that's really important. One of the things that we saw where an application was unfortunately ineligible is listing out many things. Listing out, say you may need a computer, and you may also need a vehicle for deliveries, and you may also need office equipment or furniture. That's a lot of requests for multiple different needs. What we want to see is that you're requesting one asset or a couple of assets that meet one significant objective that will help you to achieve one particular business goal to get to where you're going, right? So just be really sure that you prioritize something that's going to have the biggest impact for your business right now. It makes sense right now. You're ready to use it and capitalize it on it right now because there's an opportunity, there's a need, and you can clearly explain how the acquisition of that capital asset is going to help you to grow your business. Excuse me. For multiple assets, I kind of touched on that, but again, just being sure that, okay, I touched on not having things that are too disconnected. If you are looking, for example, to improve your showroom, it's understandable that you may request a couch, a coffee table, and a lamp. This is just an example. So these are 3 items, but these 3 items are creating one objective. These 3 items are improving your showroom when a customer enters your space. They're meeting one need, the entrance, the welcoming, the situating of guests, something along those lines. If you were to say, I need a couch and I also need a copy machine, well, what are we doing here? So are we focused on seating, or are we focused on printing, right? So you can apply for one item, one capital asset, but you're able to request several assets so long as they are connected and it's very clear and focused back to your business outcome. Excuse me. So again, in building the strongest application, we encourage you to visit the website to walk through all of the qualifiers, the eligibility, some of those questions that I just shared there, the actual application guide that walks through just that I shared, and some more specifics. And you're attending this session here today. If you want to hear it again, you can do a playback and watch the virtual video. And you are also welcome to attend another workshop. We had that case in round 1 where we would have some small business owners who decided, you know what, I actually have a follow-up question, or I can use a little bit more clarification. I'm going to come back and check out another event in person. One of the other things to keep in mind is that in addition to what we have on the website and the programs that are available to everyone, we have 3 community partner organizations that are dedicated specifically to helping diverse small business owners for this program. Those are Aspire Community Capital, Prospera, and the Women's Business Center of Charlotte. These are organizations that, outside of Beyond Open, they regularly work with diverse small business owners to support your business, to help you to thrive in your business, rather, I should say. They're there to offer technical support. They're there to offer training opportunities. They're there to guide and assist. Aspire, they're welcome. The doors are open to all. Everyone is welcome and doors are open to all. I'd like to note that Prospera, for example, they have built-in support with Spanish-speaking staff if a first language is Spanish for you and you would prefer that level of support. The Business Center, the Women's Business Center of Charlotte, is not exclusive to women. They are dedicated to serving the BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, Person of Color community. So if you are a man, you are welcome to knock on their doors, to give them a call as well. But any one of these partner organizations are available to support you, and they would be best helpful when it comes to some of that technical support. If you have your financials already together, but you just want to make sure something is run the right way, some of that sort of documentation, they're there to support you, and maybe even helping you to understand the story behind your growth and what your objectives are and how you're going to get there in your business through the capital assets. So please know that they are there to assist as well, and their contact information is on our website. So that last step is to actually apply for this program. That will again open on August the 1st. You go to beyondopenclt.com. It will then take you to the portal. I believe you have to set up an account to be officially in the system. If you've already applied before and you're in there, great. But that will launch on August 1, and we will update the website with that link and that opportunity. Before you apply, we have encouraged you to just, again, follow these steps, confirm that you are in fact eligible for this program, to attend at least one of these workshops or watch and view one, to gather all of your documentation information before you get into the application, to save those as a PDF so that they're ready to be uploaded, and to ensure that everything that you turn in is accurate. That sounds really simple, but for example, if you were to write down the wrong address, right? Or something is disconnected, what do it's going to cause some troubles for the review team. It's going to be hard for them to connect all the dots. So ensure your business name is spelled the correct way. You provided the right documentation for the years that you're supposed to, the right tax returns, the name, what you're looking for in your asset. One of the things is, if any, or I didn't share this, but anything that is above $20,000, you guys saw in that chart, any asset above $20,000 requires 2 cost estimates. And what that looks like is, say I'm purchasing equipment from Best Buy, for example. I'm getting some technology from Best Buy. I can pull an example of it from Best Buy. I can pull an example of it from Staples. And I want to, as if I'm shopping maybe online, I'll pull the cost of that item, save it as a PDF, and you can upload that to say, here's an example of one model XYZ that I'm looking to buy. And it costs, X many dollars. And here's another one at this place that costs X many dollars. I'm choosing to buy this one, but I'm giving you an example of these 2 cost estimates. Be sure that you're actually turning in a cost estimate for the item you're requesting, right? Not a different model, not a different make. And so just having accuracy across the board, from the way your business name is spelled, to the address, to the documentation you provide, to the cost estimates. And one of the things that I love, even being in communications, I read everything out loud. Sometimes my kids will go, Mom, why are you talking to yourself? If I'm writing something, I read it back out loud to myself. Does it make sense? Did I make a mistake? Did I miss a word? Did I miss a thought entirely? Read it out loud to yourself. And if you have an opportunity, share it with someone, share it with a partner, share it with someone on your team, someone else that you collaborate with in business, just another peer. Have them review it and let them offer their feedback as well. All of these things will be helpful to ensure that you're providing some really strong information in your application. We also have some FAQs, some frequently asked questions. Again, unfortunately, we aren't able to provide that one-on-one feedback, but a lot of the questions are common and the same. One of the biggest questions are like, what are the common mistakes? What should I avoid? What can I try to not do to ensure that I have a strong application? One is eligibility. That may seem really obvious, but just be sure that you're actually eligible for the program. If you're not eligible, you will not move forward in the application. You need to ensure that what you're asking for is eligible. We had a lot of requests for items that were not a capital asset. We had requests for advertising, marketing, promotion, staff, operational expenses that, if you recall, they're on the list of things that the grant cannot be used for. So ensure that your item is in fact a capital asset, something that you can own. Missing and incomplete or inaccurate documentation. As we said, there's a list of documents that are required based on what you're requesting. Ensure that what's being asked is what's turned in. What's being asked is what's turned in. The cost estimates, again, they're required for anything over $20,000. All the financial documentation, don't think, well, I'll just give them half of it and we'll see where it goes. Unfortunately, you will not move forward in the application process. So provide all of the information that you need and just ensure that it is accurate as it can be. The description of your business services, for example, what you do and what you're looking to achieve, it's kind of vague. We're not clear. We're not able to, I say we, I'm not on the review team, but the review team is unable to follow the story. They're unable to follow your business. They're unable to follow your objectives. So have very clear business services and the products that you're requesting. Again, as that same point relates to your actual vision and your plan and your goals. If it's not really clear and they can't understand how this capital asset is helping you to achieve your business objectives, that's a less compelling application. And then that last bullet there is that the connection between the grant and the business goal is weak, or it's just lacking detail. It's just, the story just is like, we're not really sure. So you want to have clear objectives, clear case for how your asset is going to help your business to grow, and that will help you to have a strong application. There are other FAQs on the website as well. The review process, I talked a bit about. I'm not a reviewer. The review team is a really trusted group of individuals, that are familiar with the diverse small business owner space. They're familiar with this either in the world of helping businesses to grow, understanding the financial aspects of it. They are small business owners themselves. It's a really diverse group of individuals. They are an independent entity. They are not a part of the advisory council that we have to help us to bring this program to the community. And there are at least 2 of them independently that reviews each application with the intent, right, to ensure that no eyes are missing something, that there's someone else holding the application accountable. And so every application will receive at least 2 reviewers. Each application is reviewed and evaluated. Now, again, if we get to that point where you didn't provide all the documentation that's needed, it may not go forward, but no application will be ignored. As long as you've completed it, your application will be reviewed thoroughly. That criteria is looking that you meet all the eligibility, that all the documentation is provided, and that you have a very clear focus and connection between the asset and how it's going to impact and help your business to grow. So again, that's really what we're looking for. You're eligible, you've turned everything in, and your story is tight and strong. We understand your business growth objectives and how this capital asset is going to help you to achieve that. Some people will say, some are discouraged once we've learned how competitive this program has become, and maybe it's not even worth my time. We would say, that's for you to decide, ultimately, absolutely. But our objective here is to obviously provide you with grant funding to get what you need for your business to grow and for you to excel in your economic mobility. But because everyone may not move forward, the hope is that you will be ready to pursue capital. You will be able to apply for other grant funding or a loan if that's what you're interested in, by way of submitting an application for this program. And what that looks like is myself as a small business owner. I've been in business now full-time for 4 years. Any program that I've applied to, I save that. I save my story. I save my business objective goals. I save a copy of, they ask for wealth asset. What's the word I'm looking for? Your net income you're looking for, all of those things that they're looking for. I have copies of those so that if I'm applying for another program, I'm just pulling it. I'm just copying it. I'm adjusting it as I need to based upon the parameters for that new program. But now I have all of these tools and all of these, resources in my belt that prepares me to just kind of pick them as I need to for other opportunities, as opposed to creating this all from, scratch, essentially, and starting over. And most programs are requesting similar information. And so the idea is that this process will equip you to pursue capital, whether it's by way of Beyond Open or another program. Also, you being connected to any of the community partner organizations, again, they are always there. They are not limited to supporting Beyond Open. We encourage you to establish relationships with them for the benefit of your business and your business growth. So this is all an opportunity to help you to be even more equipped for acquiring funds for your business. So we encourage you to move forward, but again, that's your decision, but that's how we see it and what we see as a full benefit. And something to note is if you don't put your name in the hat, you're guaranteed to not get it. But if you apply, you're going to increase your chances, right? Because every application will be reviewed. And so that's it in summary here. again, these are the steps. We want you to learn more, get prepared, have everything ready, and then be ready to apply beginning August the 1st. And we will send out updates if you are subscribed to receive email notifications. If you have not done so, please do so. And as the application is open, we'll send out a reminder and any other key points along the way throughout this application process. And so we can now turn it over to Christy for any questions that have come in.
Yeah, as a reminder, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat to Q&A. That's me. And then we will state your question. So the first question is a person who owns a mobile business. So they do go to multiple areas and they cater and cover opportunity zones, but their physical location is outside of the opportunity zone. Are they eligible?
You know, yeah, unfortunately, that's a tricky one. Unfortunately, the business needs to be, it has to be tied to a corridor of opportunity. And so I know there are ghost kitchens, for example, in Charlotte, if you're leasing space like in a ghost kitchen, and that's kind of like your home base for your mobile business, that'd be a way for you to plant those roots in the corridor of opportunity. But if your business address, your documentation is placing you somewhere else, unfortunately, you would be ineligible for this round 2.
And the second part of this person's question, I think we just need to clarify that tax returns for the previous year, no matter what level you're asking for, are required. So that is one thing that is required across the board, which would show your address and show that you have a revenue. So that was really more of a clarification for that. Okay, our second question is, there were some changes in business minimum income and corridor, and of course the corridor requirement. Can you talk a little bit about those changes?
Yes, so if we go back to our chart for eligibility here. So you said, Christy, for the income, is that correct? That's the first point they made?
Yeah, they were noting the income change as well as the focus on specifically on the corridors of opportunity and not going broader than that.
That's correct. Those are 2 changes from round 1. One of the things that I mentioned is, so in addition to that revenue, also that proof that the business has been operating for 1 full year. What we're looking to do, again, if we go back to the title of Beyond Open, unlike some of the grant programs that came out during the pandemic just to kind of keep you alive, this program is intended to help your business to grow. And so we're looking for businesses that have been viable, that are operating, that have a steady revenue stream. And so that's where that minimum income requirement has emerged. So yes, those are 2 changes for this round.
Great. And here's a question about if they have a mobile app that doesn't have a physical location. And I think this goes to the address of the business, but do you want to talk about alternative businesses like mobile apps? And of course, it goes along the line of the mobile catering.
Yeah, so what could be a little bit different if you think about an app is you may see yourself as a professional service provider as opposed to having a brick and mortar or a mobile service. Then what is the registration of your business? Where are you tied? What is your tax return going to? Where did you, if you register with the state of North Carolina, where did you register? It may be your home address. And if that's the case, then that address needs to be within a corridor of opportunity.
Next question. What are the qualifications and rules pertaining to acquiring or purchasing a franchise?
So that's where we're talking about. Would that be more like we're talking about leasing? I'm sorry, not leasing, but real estate? Because are we saying purchasing like the franchise license or the physical location?
They only say franchise, but I'm going to guess. So Christopher, if you want to clarify your question, but I'm going to guess that they're acquiring or purchasing a franchise. And I think we should talk about it as doing that in the opportunity zone, because that's what would be required. And he's saying buying a franchise. So buying a franchise And I would guess we need to right there discuss location is important.
Yes, yes. If we're talking about that physical location, it must be within the corridor of opportunity. And what you'll see for the leasing requirements, let's see here. What we want to see is that you already have, whether it's a lease or a purchase, that you're in the process. So we're looking for a copy of an executed lease agreement or an executed purchase agreement or contract. And so if you're in the process and you're pulling that together and it's executed and you're looking for additional support, financial support to see that all the way through, if you can provide the documentation here, you are eligible to apply in accordance with the and providing the documentation as requested for real estate.
Next up, Tiffany is asking us, she's asking about the Women's Business Center, but this could be any of our CPOs. Do they have the grant expertise that can assist with those that have not written a grant before and are not sure how to proceed?
I would say yes, they're there to provide technical support. They are not necessarily there to be a grant writer for you, right? And I think my team would agree with this, but they would be able to help you to gain understanding of your business objectives and what you're hoping to achieve, and guiding you to have everything that's required for this particular grant program. So do you have the documentation? Are you clear on your capital asset requests? And so getting you prepared for this grant opportunity, yes, but I don't want you to think they are not there to directly, walk you through the full application and writing it for you. But yes, they absolutely have expertise in helping you to pursue capital funding by way of a grant.
Great. We've got a very specific question about family child care homes and are they eligible?
Yes, that is a business. If your business is located within the 6 corridors of opportunity and it's a child care center, we did have a grantee from round 1 that was offering child care services. We had someone that was providing educational services. So if it's a business, not a nonprofit, and most child care centers are a business, you are eligible.
Great. Next question. What if you have multiple locations, but their tax return address, let's see, and our tax return address have our other location addresses? I'm going to guess maybe the tax return address is not in an opportunity corridor, but they do have locations in the opportunity corridor. Wanda, if I did not interpret that correctly, then please feel free to provide a clarification to me.
And I think, Dana, I would love for you to chime in because I want to make sure I answer this one correctly. Based upon what we're seeking, there is a list that I don't have it here in this presentation, but it's on the website for the documentation that's being requested to prove your business location. And I believe that it's 2 things that are requested. Some of those things are utility bills,
lease
your
agreement.
yeah,
Yes.
lease agreement. So if you have documentation that shows that can prove that you're physically located, that the business is physically located in the corridor, even if your tax return is elsewhere, then there is eligibility. Yes.
Exactly, that is correct. So we have 8 different documents, that they can choose from. They can select 2 of them. The tax return is one of them, but as you said, it could be the lease agreement, a utility bill, the North Carolina sales and use tax registration, a bank statement. So as long as you can provide 2 documents with that address and that address is in the corridor, yes, you are eligible to apply.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask for a clarification from Ray. Ray is asking, does this organization, I'm guessing Beyond Open, have resources for registered state agents within the opportunity zone?
Can you repeat that one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we're going to need some clarification from Ray, but his question is, does this organization have resources for registered state agents within the opportunity zone?
Yeah, I think I need a little bit more. What resources are being requested is.
Yeah, Ray, so if you want to put some clarification for us, send that back to me and I'll circle back around to that question.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, I think that's our so Ray, if you want to clarify, if not,
Do have something, we have something more for everyone, right, Christy? So I didn't share at the top of the agenda, but while we're waiting on that additional clarification, we have with us Jay Ward, and I'm not sure if he is visible right now or not. Ish, if you wouldn't mind allowing Jay Ward to join as a host as well. Jay Ward is the City of Charlotte's Poet Laureate. He's an incredible poet, has been with us through round one to be able to just give a little bit of color to this program and sharing with you as an interested, diverse small business owner. And so he is going to share a piece with us, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Thank you. So Jay, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Azania. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. So for this round two, I wanted to write something special about this opportunity that we all have to submit. An individual fiber has strength. If we intertwine fibers into yarn, into strands, into rope, they become even stronger. Each of us as individuals, groups, small businesses make up a community, and a community, when woven together, locked in purpose, is strong enough to handle any obstacle. What if that obstacle is funding? It's not there, or it's there but not there for us, or historically we've not been eligible for that kind of funding. This is not that. Prepare now. Attend an info session, read the FAQs on the website, download the application guide, ask questions, reach out to Aspire or Prospera or WBC. Apply early. Round one of Beyond Open saw $5.9 million in grants distributed to 178 grantees. In each of them is a necessary fiber of this community, like Buzz City Bar and Grill on Betty's Ford, who attended 2 info sessions before applying and now have a new catering vehicle. Or like DJ That Guy Smitty, rooftop spinning sound since 1996, who now has a centerpiece for a new studio. Mine's new Dimension machine will bring improved aesthetics, function, and lifespan to their orthopedic devices and custom-made braces. Pranzel Group built a studio to record teachers so schools in Haiti could have increased online access to education. A woman-owned boutique agency, Black Wednesday, purchased a building, a home where their team can work and collaborate and increase revenue and growth. Studio Cultivate now has a cargo van and a trailer for their immersive installations instead of using personal vehicles or rentals. Zamaria Spa of Africa has new equipment for standalone services, which will not only increase profit, but also continue their mission of fostering a sense of belonging. The owner of E&E Bravo Countertops came to Charlotte from Peru in 1988, learned the trade of solid surface manufacturing, formed a business, and now a new CNC machine will allow them to be more competitive and take on larger projects. FM Auto Service, established 30 years ago, passed down from father to son, is the only Korean-owned shop in Charlotte. And they now have additional car lifts and other equipment that will allow them to hire more mechanics. Smitty's Cuts Barbershop, Black woman-owned, is getting new equipment and supplies to continue a legacy, a lineage of clients that are heirlooms to a stronger community. These are just some of the stories, and that's just from round one. What's your story? How can you add to this tapestry of strings, cording together Charlotte's new history right now, weaving memory, growth, revival, sustainability, tying into not just a metaphor, but a prophecy, economic mobility, lifting the underserved, building the corridors of opportunity, small businesses making huge impact, a community tightening its bond until it's strong enough to take on any obstacle. Round two, it takes all of us to take all of us beyond open. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And as we wrap up, thank you so much again, Jay. As we wrap up, Christy, did we receive any other questions or clarification on that last one?
Okay, yes, Christine is asking, we were talking about connecting the dots. Oh, we have a few. So we were talking about connecting the dots with the amount of assets asking amount. Just want to be clear, if I needed to update my outside building look in a new delivery van, is this something that would qualify?
That sounds like two different objectives. So I'm hearing an outdoor facade, you're looking to improve the physical location, and there's also a need for a cargo van. That would be two different business objectives. So I would look to focus on the project that will be most significant in helping you to grow and achieve whatever business goals you have. That will help you to achieve whatever business goals you have for growth. If it is starting with the front of your building to attract more customers, or whatever your need is, I would go for that. If it is to go to the cargo van, because somehow that's going to allow you to provide more services, I would apply for that. But that would be two different objectives.
Next up, revisit a property lease or purchase agreement. Do you have to have a property lease or purchase agreement in the works before applying, or can it be a goal?
It would need to be in the works. That is a part of the required documentation for leases.
And that is the last of the questions.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. We respected your time, and we have 3 minutes to spare. I know some people think a little slow, so if you want to, if you wanted something still ringing in your mind, if you want to just hang on for another, we'll stay here. Our team will be here for the next 3 minutes. But everyone else, thank you so much for joining us, and please visit our website. Much respect to you for taking out this time and commitment to be able to pursue an opportunity for your business. I know it's not easy out there. So a lot of respect for you guys and the work that you're doing, and wishing you the best in your application process. So we're still here, final 2 minutes. I feel like we should play a little Jeopardy.
So if you're staying on and you have a question, please ask your question to Q&A, please. Christina says, thank you. This was really helpful.
Thank you.
I'm going to put the info email as well in the chat, so people have it just in case anybody has questions after this meeting that come up. You can send them to our inbox as well.
That's great. Thank you.
So Christina was saying she's the one that asked the questions around the outside of the building and a new delivery van. She is a florist and she moved her location, and so she's a little lost on what to ask for.
I see. I understand. So I think it goes back to what we shared earlier around being able to tell the story about your business objectives for growth. And whatever that is, take the time you need to be very clear around what you want to achieve. And as you identify what your objectives are, I think that will help you to really hone in on the asset that will be most significant in helping you to achieve that objective.
Also a great way to use one of our partners on making sure your business plan is solid, and they can probably provide some guidance of what you're thinking about and walk with you through that discussion. Sometimes it's very helpful if you have somebody to bounce your ideas off of.
Great point.
She says, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we have 1 more minute. We're at time. Thank you guys again. Thank you for carving out this time. Thank you for joining us. And we have dropped in an email address if you have any questions coming out of this meeting. And I think we can end our recording now.